The church bells tolled ominously as the entire Thompson family gathered in the small chapel in upstate New York, their faces etched with grief for Grandma Eleanor. But Juliana Thompson was nowhere to be seen, her absence a glaring void amid the whispers of relatives who had long shunned her for loving another woman. When the pallbearers lifted the coffin lid for a final viewing, shock rippled through the room. The body inside was gone, replaced by a single envelope addressed to Juliana, revealing that Grandma had faked her death to force a family reckoning. Juliana stared at her phone screen in her cramped Brooklyn apartment, the notification from her cousin flashing like a warning. Grandma's funeral today. You're not coming. Her heart pounded, a mix of rage and sorrow churning inside. Why would she go? The last time she'd seen her family, at Thanksgiving 3 years ago, her father had slammed the door in her face after she introduced Julia as her girlfriend. "You're no daughter of mine if you choose this path," he'd snarled, his words echoing in her mind like a perpetual curse. She tossed the phone aside, burying her face in her hands. What good would showing up do? They'd only see her as the black sheep, the one who tarnished the perfect family image. Julia entered the room quietly, her presence a soothing balm against Juliana's storm. "Hey, love," she said softly, sitting beside her on the worn couch. Julia's hand found Juliana's, fingers interlacing with a familiarity born of 2 years together. "You don't have to go. But if you don't, you'll regret it forever." Juliana looked up, her eyes meeting Julia's warm brown ones. Julia, with her easy confidence and unyielding support, had been the anchor in Juliana's turbulent life. They met at a support group for LGBTQ+ professionals, where Julia's story of coming out to her accepting family had both inspired and envious Juliana. "What if they blame me for her death?" Juliana whispered, her voice cracking. "They already think I'm the reason she's been distant." The internal battle raged in Juliana's mind. Part of her wanted to storm into that funeral, demand they acknowledge her truth, but the fear was paralyzing. Growing up in a conservative suburb, she'd hidden her feelings for years, dating boys to fit in, until college freed her to explore who she really was. Meeting Julia had been a revelation. A love so pure it made the world's judgments seem small. Yet the family's rejection had carved deep wounds. Her mother, always the peacemaker, had sent secret texts of love, but never stood up publicly. Her siblings? They pretended she didn't exist. And Grandma Eleanor, the matriarch who once baked cookies and told stories of resilience, had grown silent after Juliana's coming out. Was it disapproval or something else? Julia squeezed her hand tighter. "Your grandma loved you. Remember those letters she sent? The ones encouraging you to live authentically." Juliana nodded, recalling the handwritten notes tucked away in a drawer, words like "Be brave, my dear. Love knows no bounds." But bravery felt impossible now. The phone buzzed again, this time a call from her mother. Juliana's thumb hovered over the answer button, her mind screaming to ignore it. What could she possibly say? That she was sorry for being herself? No, she wasn't sorry. The anger bubbled up, hot and unyielding. She answered, her voice steady despite the tremor inside. "Mom, I'm not coming. You all made it clear I'm not welcome." There was a pause, then her mother's voice choked with tears. "Juliana, please. Something's happened. The coffin. It's empty. And there's a letter for you." Juliana's world tilted. Empty? What kind of sick joke was this? Her mind raced through possibilities: kidnapping, mistake, or worse. "What do you mean empty?" she demanded, standing up abruptly. Julia's eyes widened in alarm. Her mother's sobs filled the line. "We don't know. The police are here. But the envelope says it's from her. And it's only for you." Juliana's heart hammered against her ribs. This wasn't grief, this was chaos. She hung up, turning to Julia. "We have to go. Now." The drive upstate was a blur of highways and unspoken fears. Juliana gripped the steering wheel, her knuckles white, while Julia navigated from the passenger seat. What if this is her way of bringing us together? Julia mused, trying to lighten the mood. But Juliana's thoughts were darker. What if Grandma had planned this? Eleanor Thompson was no ordinary woman. She'd survived the Great Depression, raised 5 children alone after Grandpa's death, and built a small fortune through sheer will. If anyone could orchestrate a fake death, it was her. But why? To expose the family's hypocrisy? To force Juliana back into the fold? The questions gnawed at her, each mile amplifying the tension. Arriving at the chapel, they parked amid a sea of cars. Police lights flashed silently, adding to the surreal atmosphere. Juliana hesitated at the door, the weight of judgment pressing down. "I can't do this," she muttered. Julia took her arm. "You can." For her. Steeling herself, Juliana pushed open the door. Heads turned, murmurs rising like a wave. Her father, Robert, stood at the front, his face a mask of fury. "What are you doing here?" he barked, stepping forward as if to block her. Her mother, Elaine, rushed over, pulling her into a hug. "Thank God you're here." Siblings, brother Mark and sister Lisa, exchanged uneasy glances. The envelope was handed to her by a detective, who eyed her suspiciously. This was found in the coffin. No body, no signs of foul play yet. Juliana's hands trembled as she tore it open. Inside, Grandma's elegant script. "My dear Juliana, if you're reading this, I've succeeded in my final act. I've hidden myself away to teach this family a lesson in love and acceptance. Come find me at the old cabin by the lake. But first, make them listen." Juliana's breath caught. Alive? Hiding? The room spun as she read aloud, her voice echoing off the walls. Gasps filled the air. Robert's face reddened. "This is insanity. She's lost her mind." But Juliana felt a spark of hope amid the betrayal. Grandma had chosen her side. The family erupted into arguments, accusations flying. Mark blamed Juliana. "If you hadn't paraded your lifestyle, she wouldn't have done this." Lisa nodded in agreement. Elaine tried to mediate, but the damage was done. Juliana stood tall, Julia by her side. "This isn't about me. It's about all of you refusing to see me as family." The words hung heavy, the first crack in the facade. Inside, Juliana wrestled with the revelation. Grandma's drastic measure. Was it love or manipulation? The moral quandary twisted her gut. She had to find her, but at what cost to her own peace? As the police questioned everyone, Juliana slipped out with Julia, heading to the cabin. The drive was silent, her mind a whirlwind. "Why me?" she thought. "Because I'm the outcast, the one who needs vindication." But vindication through deception? Felt wrong yet exhilarating. Arriving at the secluded spot, memories flooded back. Childhood summers fishing with Grandma, learning life's hard truths. The door creaked open and there she was. Eleanor, alive and well, sipping tea by the fire. "Took you long enough," she said with a wry smile. Juliana's emotions exploded. "What the hell, Grandma? You faked your death." Eleanor set down her cup. "Sometimes drastic measures are needed to wake people up. Your family has ignored your pain for too long. This forces them to confront it." Julia hung back, watching. Juliana paced, torn between relief and anger. "You scared us all. Mom's a wreck." Eleanor's eyes softened. "And you? How do you feel?" Juliana stopped, the truth spilling out. Betrayed. But also seen. It was the first time someone in her family had fought for her. They talked for hours, Eleanor revealing her own secrets. A long-ago love for a woman, suppressed by society's chains. "I couldn't live my truth, but you can. Don't let them dim your light." Juliana's heart ached with understanding. But as night fell, a call came. The family was coming, furious and demanding answers. The confrontation loomed, and Juliana knew this was just the beginning of the storm. The cabin door burst open as Robert stormed in, followed by Elaine, Mark, and Lisa. Their faces were a storm of indignation, the air thick with unspoken accusations. "Mother, what is the meaning of this?" Robert bellowed, his voice echoing off the wooden walls. Eleanor rose slowly, her frail frame belying the steel in her eyes. "The meaning, son, is to expose the rot in this family." Juliana stood beside her grandma, Julia a silent pillar of support behind her. The room felt smaller, the tension coiling like a spring ready to snap. Robert's gaze locked on Juliana. "This is your doing, isn't it? You put her up to this madness." Juliana's blood boiled. How dare he? After years of silence, of pretending she didn't exist, now he blamed her? Inside, she screamed, "I've suffered because of you." But she held her tongue, drawing strength from Eleanor's calm. "No, Dad. This is Grandma's plan. Maybe ask yourself why she felt it necessary." Mark snorted. Because you're the problem. Your choices have divided us. Lisa added. We were fine before you came out. Elaine stepped forward, tears streaming. Please everyone. Let's talk. But the words ignited the powder keg. Robert rounded on his wife. Talk? She's humiliated us. The whole town thinks we're lunatics. Eleanor interrupted sharply. The humiliation is your intolerance, Robert. Juliana is your daughter. Julia is her partner. Accept it or lose us both. The ultimatum hung in the air. A line drawn in the sand. Juliana's mind raced. Was this the moment of truth? Or would it shatter everything irreparably? As arguments flew, Juliana's inner turmoil deepened. She loved her family despite the pain. Seeing their faces now, flushed with anger but also fear, humanized them. Robert, the stern patriarch, had lost his own father young, building walls to protect himself. Mark, the golden boy, followed in his footsteps, afraid to deviate. Lisa, the youngest, sought approval above all. But understanding didn't erase the hurt. How many nights had she cried herself to sleep, wondering why her love was deemed wrong? Julia's hand on her back grounded her, a reminder that she wasn't alone. The debate raged on. Robert defended tradition. We raised you right, Juliana. This isn't what God intended. Juliana countered, her voice steady. God? Or your prejudices? Love is love, Dad. Mark jumped in, revealing a betrayal. I told Grandma not to encourage you. I thought she'd talk sense into you. Juliana's eyes widened. So Mark had interfered? The revelation stung like a slap. You went behind my back? She accused. Mark shrugged. For the family's sake. Lisa confessed too. I stopped inviting you to events because it made things awkward. Eleanor's voice cut through. Enough confessions. This family is broken because of secrets and silence. I faked my death to force honesty. She turned to Juliana. And you, child, have paid the highest price. Juliana felt a surge of gratitude, mixed with resentment. Grandma's act was heroic but manipulative. Was the end justifying the means? Morally, it teetered on the edge. As the night wore on, exhaustion set in. Robert slumped into a chair. I don't know how to fix this. Elaine suggested therapy, but he scoffed. Julia spoke for the first time. Fixing starts with listening. Juliana's story isn't a choice. It's who she is. Her words, calm and reasoned, shifted the dynamic. Robert looked at Julia, really looked, perhaps seeing her as a person, not a threat. Who are you to lecture me? He grumbled, but without venom. Julia smiled faintly. Someone who loves your daughter. The admission hung vulnerable and raw. Juliana's heart swelled. Julia's bravery in the lion's den. But the peace was fragile. Mark stormed out, muttering about disowning everyone. Lisa followed, conflicted. Elaine stayed, hugging Juliana tightly. I'm sorry, baby. I should have fought harder. Robert remained seated, staring at the floor. I need time, he said gruffly. Eleanor nodded. Time we have. But no more hiding. As the others left, Juliana and Julia stayed with Eleanor. The cabin a temporary sanctuary. Inside, Juliana questioned everything. Had Grandma's deception healed or wounded deeper? The moral ambiguity gnawed at her. The next morning brought police, clearing Eleanor of charges since no crime occurred. Just a family prank. They called it, though it felt anything but. News spread through the small town, whispers turning to outright gossip. Juliana faced stares at the local diner, where old friends averted eyes. Freak show, one muttered. The societal pressure crushed her spirit. Why couldn't they see beyond labels? Julia held her hand publicly, a defiant act. Let them talk. We're real. Back home in Brooklyn, the fallout continued via texts. Mark apologized half-heartedly. Sorry if I hurt you. Lisa sent articles on acceptance, a tentative olive branch. Robert remained silent, his absence louder than words. Juliana wrestled with forgiveness. Could she let go of the betrayal? The family's rejection had shaped her, making her stronger yet guarded. Julia urged patience. Change doesn't happen overnight. But a new conflict arose. Eleanor's health was failing for real. The fake death a cover for her terminal illness. She confessed over dinner. I have months, maybe. Wanted to fix things before I go. Juliana's world shattered again. The deception now carried the weight of impending loss. "Why not just tell us?" she cried. Eleanor sighed. "Would you have come together otherwise?" The truth hit hard. No, they wouldn't. The moral dilemma intensified. Was lying justified for unity? As weeks passed, Juliana navigated the emotional minefield. Therapy sessions with Elaine began, unearthing buried resentments. "I was afraid of losing Robert," Elaine admitted. Juliana nodded, understanding the sacrifices women made. "But inside she seethed. At what cost to me?" Julia supported her through it, their relationship tested by the drama. "Is this worth it?" Julia asked one night. Juliana paused, the question mirroring her doubts. "For us? Yes." The high point came at a family dinner Eleanor insisted on. Robert attended reluctantly. Tension simmered as they ate. Then he spoke. "I've been wrong. Seeing Mother's desperation. It opened my eyes." Tears flowed. Mark and Lisa echoed sentiments. Juliana's heart raced. Was this genuine? Or performative? She chose to believe, hugging her father for the first time in years. But the embrace felt tentative, the wounds fresh. Yet betrayal lingered. Lisa confessed privately. "I was jealous. You lived freely, I couldn't." The admission revealed layers of family dysfunction. Juliana realized everyone paid a price, suppressed truths eroding bonds. Months blurred into a fragile truce as Eleanor's condition worsened, confining her to a hospice in the suburbs. Juliana visited daily, Julia often by her side, the drives filled with reflective silence. Inside, Juliana grappled with the impending goodbye. Grandma's deception had sparked change, but at what ethical cost? Lying to unite, was it right? Society's lens magnified it. Articles in local papers dubbed it the funeral farce, painting the family as dysfunctional. Online comments stung. Lesbian Granddaughter caused the drama. The prejudice fueled her anger, a reminder that acceptance was superficial. Robert's transformation was slow, awkward attempts at connection. He called once. "How's work?" Juliana answered curtly, her trust fractured. "Fine." But his effort chipped away at her walls. Mark invited them to his son's birthday, a first. At the party, relatives whispered, but no outright hostility. Julia charmed them with stories humanizing their love. Yet, Juliana's mind wandered to the trade-offs. Attending meant swallowing pride, enduring microaggressions like Aunt Mary's. When will you settle down properly? Lisa's evolution was more profound. She confided over coffee. "I've been seeing a therapist. Realized my resentment stemmed from my own unhappiness." Juliana listened, empathy blooming. "What unhappiness?" Lisa hesitated. "My marriage. It's loveless. Seeing you with Julia made me envious." The confession bonded them, two sisters navigating pain. But it highlighted the societal pressure on women to conform, the moral choices between authenticity and security. Eleanor's bedside became a confessional. "I regret nothing," she whispered one evening, "except not telling you sooner about my past." She revealed more. A forbidden romance in the 1950s, ended by family intervention. "I married your grandpa out of duty. Don't repeat my mistakes." Juliana's tears fell. "But your lie. It hurt." Eleanor nodded. "Pain sometimes precedes healing." The words resonated, but Juliana questioned. Was imposed pain ethical? In her heart, she weighed the scales. Family reconciliation versus deception's toll. Julia faced her own struggles. Her supportive family contrasted sharply, making her impatient with the Thompsons. "They don't deserve you," she said after a tense call with Robert. Juliana defended them weakly. "They're trying." But doubt crept in. Was she sacrificing her well-being for flawed forgiveness? The internal conflict peaked during an argument. "I feel like a prop in your family's redemption arc," Julia snapped. Juliana recoiled. "You're not. You're my everything." They reconciled, but the crack remained, a reminder of love's fragility under pressure. A turning point came when Robert visited Brooklyn unannounced. Standing in their apartment, he looked out of place. "I want to understand," he said stiffly. Juliana showed him photos, shared stories of their life. "Julia makes me happy, Dad. Isn't that enough?" He nodded slowly. "I was scared. Of change, of what people think." His vulnerability disarmed her. For the first time, she saw him not as oppressor, but as flawed human. The moral gray area expanded. Forgiveness required empathy, but at what personal cost? Society's backlash intensified. A conservative relative leaked details to a blog, sparking online harassment. Juliana's inbox filled with hate. Your grandma's stunt proves your kind are trouble. The attacks tested her resolve. Julia suggested going public. Share our side. They did an interview with a local LGBTQ+ outlet, turning pain into advocacy. Love shouldn't require deception, Juliana stated. The response was mixed. Support from allies, vitriol from detractors. It awakened her to broader fights, the ethical imperative to challenge norms. As Eleanor's time dwindled, the family gathered for what might be the last time. Tension simmered beneath civility. Mark proposed a toast to new beginnings. But Lisa's husband made a snide remark. As long as we keep it traditional. The room froze. Juliana stood. No. Tradition that excludes isn't worth keeping. Robert backed her. She's right. The shift was seismic, a collective awakening. Yet inside, Juliana mourned the lost years. Had Grandma's act been worth it? The damage, emotional scars, public scrutiny weighed heavy. In quiet moments, Juliana reflected on her choices. Coming out had cost relationships but gained self-respect. Julia's love was her anchor, but the drama strained it. Do you regret us? She asked Julia one night. Never. But I hate seeing you hurt. Their bond deepened through adversity, a testament to resilience. But moral questions lingered. Was staying silent complicity? Fighting back aggression? Eleanor's final days brought closure. Promise me you'll live fully, she urged Juliana. And forgive, but don't forget. Juliana promised, holding her hand as she slipped away peacefully. The real funeral was subdued, the family united in grief. No empty coffin this time, just honest mourning. Robert hugged Juliana afterward. I'm proud of you. The words healed a piece of her shattered heart. But awakening came with repercussions. Mark distanced himself again, unable to fully embrace change. Lisa divorced, seeking her truth. The family fragmented anew but authentically. Juliana pondered the trade-offs. Unity through deception led to partial healing, but exposed deeper rifts. Was it success or failure? Julia and Juliana's relationship evolved. They discussed marriage, a bold step amid uncertainty. Society may not accept us fully, but we accept each other, Julia said. Juliana agreed, but inner doubts persisted. The pressure to conform, the ethical dilemmas of visibility, it all weighed. A betrayal surfaced posthumously. Eleanor's will revealed she donated to anti-LGBTQ groups in the past. A shocking contradiction. How could she? Juliana raged. Robert explained. She changed late in life. The revelation forced reevaluation. People's morals weren't black and white. Forgiveness became a choice, not obligation. As they navigated the aftermath, Juliana advocated more, speaking at events. Our stories matter, she declared. But each step brought backlash, testing her limits. The societal mirror reflected ugly truths. Prejudice entrenched, change incremental. In the wake of Eleanor's passing, the family's fragile bonds tested anew. Juliana returned to work in the city, her marketing job a distraction from the void. But emails from relatives poured in, some supportive, others accusatory. Aunt Mary wrote, "Your grandma's actions shamed us all because of your lifestyle." The words reignited fury. Why was her love the scapegoat? Inside, she debated responding. Confrontation or silence? The moral tightrope. Defend herself or preserve peace. Julia suggested therapy for them as a couple. This has taken a toll. Sessions unearthed Juliana's abandonment fears. I worry you'll leave if it gets too hard, Julia reassured. I'm here for the long haul. But the strain showed. Fewer date nights, more arguments over family involvement. Juliana questioned. Was prioritizing reconciliation betraying their relationship? The ethical balance shifted daily. Robert's efforts continued. He attended a PFLAG meeting, surprising Juliana with photos. Learning, he texted. His growth inspired hope, but skepticism lingered. Had the deception truly changed him, or was it grief-induced? Mark, however, regressed, cutting contact after a heated call. I can't pretend this is normal. The rejection stung afresh, a reminder of unresolved prejudices. Lisa's journey intersected dramatically. Post-divorce, she confessed attraction to women. Watching you gave me courage. Juliana felt vindicated yet burdened. Don't rush. Society's harsh. Lisa's coming out rippled through the family, Robert struggling anew. 2 daughters, he lamented. Elaine supported. Love them both. The double standard exposed hypocrisy, easier to accept in theory than practice. Societal pressures mounted. At a work event, colleagues gossiped about the funeral scandal. Juliana overheard. Her family's a mess because of her. The isolation deepened her resolve. She started a blog, chronicling the experience anonymously. Deception for acceptance, right or wrong? Readers debated fiercely, mirroring her turmoil. One comment: ends justify means if it saves lives. Another: lies erode trust. The discourse fueled her introspection. Julia faced professional backlash too. As a teacher, parents complained after the interview. Inappropriate influence. She fought back, but stress mounted. Is our love worth the fight? She pondered aloud. Juliana's heart clenched. The question echoed her fears. The price of visibility. Morally, silence felt like cowardice. Speaking out risky. A climactic confrontation occurred at Thanksgiving. The family gathered warily. Robert hosted, attempting normalcy. But tensions erupted when Mark arrived uninvited, drunk and angry. This is all because of you two, he slurred at Juliana and Julia. Ruining traditions. Lisa defended. Traditions evolve. Robert intervened. Enough, Mark. Leave if you can't accept. Mark stormed out, disowning them. The betrayal fractured Juliana. Family unity, illusion or achievable? In the aftermath, Juliana reflected deeply. Grandma's act had awakened some, alienated others. The moral calculus. One lie for multiple truths. But the damage, emotional exhaustion, strained relationships weighed heavy. Was it worth it? She asked Julia. For your growth, yes. Their bond strengthened through trial, but scars remained. Lisa's integration brought joy. She dated a woman, seeking advice from Juliana. How do you handle judgment? Juliana shared. With love as armor. But inside envy stirred. Lisa's path eased by prior awakenings. The inequality highlighted societal shifts. Incremental, uneven. Robert's redemption arc peaked with an apology letter. I was wrong. Fear blinded me. I love you as you are. Juliana cried, forgiveness budding. But trust rebuilt slowly. They met for coffee, awkward yet genuine. Tell me about Julia, he asked. Stories flowed, bridging gaps. Yet, external forces threatened. A conservative group targeted their story, doxing Juliana online. Threats arrived. Stay hidden. Fear gripped her. Julia suggested moving, but Juliana refused. Running concedes. The ethical stand. Visibility despite danger. As Christmas approached, the family attempted reunion minus Mark. Laughter mixed with tears, progress evident. Elaine gifted matching necklaces. For my daughters and their loves. The gesture touched Juliana, symbolizing acceptance. But doubt persisted. Julia proposed. Marry me. In a quiet moment, ring in hand. Juliana accepted, joy overwhelming. Planning the wedding amplified conflicts, who to invite? Mark's absence loomed. Society's gaze intensified. Lesbian wedding in conservative family? The event became a battleground. Relatives boycotted, citing morals. Robert walked Juliana down the aisle, a defiant act. Vows exchanged amid mixed attendees, love triumphing. But post-wedding backlash. Disinvitations from events strained ties. Juliana's inner monologue evolved. From victim to advocate, the journey costly. Have I paid too much? She wondered. The awakenings, personal, familial, affirmed change's possibility, but at ethical expense. Lisa's relationship faltered under pressure, mirroring Juliana's past. I get it now, she said. Solidarity deepened their bond. As years hinted at passing, Juliana looked back. Grandma's secret unveiled truths but sparked debates. Deception's role in progress? The wedding's afterglow faded into everyday realities. where acceptance proved fleeting. Juliana and Julia settled into married life in Brooklyn, but the family's fractures resurfaced. Mark reached out sporadically, his messages laced with resentment. "Congrats, I guess." Juliana responded kindly, but inside, she debated cutting ties. Toxicity versus blood, the moral quandary persisted. "Family isn't obligation," Julia advised. Yet, letting go felt like failure. Societal winds shifted with elections, anti-LGBTQ rhetoric rising. Bills threatened rights, amplifying Juliana's anxiety. "Our marriage could be invalidated," she fretted. Advocacy consumed her. Protests, petitions. But exhaustion set in. Am I fighting for us or against them? The internal push-pull. Activism's price on personal peace. Robert's health declined, a heart condition mirroring Eleanor's fate. Visiting him, Juliana confronted lingering issues. "Why did it take deception to see me?" He sighed. "Bride." Fear. "I'm sorry." His vulnerability fostered healing, but questions remained. Genuine change or circumstance-driven? Lisa thrived, her new partner integrating smoothly. Envy flickered in Juliana. Why smoother for her? But empathy won, each path unique. They co-hosted events, strengthening sisterhood. A revelation shook foundations. Eleanor's journals discovered in storage. Entries detailed her internal conflict. Loving a woman yet conforming. Donating to causes against her heart. "I betrayed myself," she wrote. Juliana wept, understanding the depth of suppressed pain. The moral mirror. Generations repeating cycles until broken. Julia's career rebounded, promotion earned through resilience. "We win by living openly," she said. Their home became a haven for others, support groups, dinners. But threats persisted. Vandalism, online trolls. Security measures became routine, a sad necessity. Years later, at a family reunion, Mark returned humbled. Job loss, divorce, life's humblings. "I was wrong," he admitted. Reconciliation tentative but real. Juliana embraced him, forgiveness a choice. Reflecting on the journey, Juliana saw the tapestry. Betrayal birthing truth, pain forging strength. Grandma's empty coffin symbolized voids filled by confrontation. But was deception the right catalyst for change? The wedding's afterglow faded into everyday realities, where acceptance proved fleeting. Juliana and Julia settled into married life in Brooklyn, but the family's fractures resurfaced. Mark reached out sporadically, his messages laced with resentment. "Congrats, I guess." Juliana responded kindly, but inside, she debated cutting ties. Toxicity versus blood, the moral quandary persisted. "Family isn't obligation," Julia advised. Yet, letting go felt like failure. The decision weighed on her nights, dreams haunted by what-ifs. Had she forgiven too easily or not enough? Societal winds shifted with elections, anti-LGBTQ rhetoric rising. Bills threatened rights, amplifying Juliana's anxiety. "Our marriage could be invalidated," she fretted to Julia over breakfast. The news headlines screamed division, each one a dagger to her sense of security. Advocacy consumed her. Protests in the streets, petitions signed late into the night. But exhaustion set in, her body aching from marches, her mind from constant vigilance. "Am I fighting for us or against them?" she wondered, staring at the ceiling. The internal push-pull. Activism's price on personal peace. Julia joined her, their hands linked in crowds, but even she admitted, "It's draining our joy." Robert's health declined, a heart condition mirroring Eleanor's fate. Visiting him in the hospital, Juliana confronted lingering issues. "Why did it take deception to see me?" she asked, her voice soft but firm. He sighed, tubes snaking across his chest. Pride. Fear. "I'm sorry for the years lost." His vulnerability fostered healing, but questions remained. Genuine change or circumstance-driven? As he recovered, they built routines, weekly calls, shared meals. "Tell me about your work," he'd say, genuinely interested. Juliana opened up, layers peeling away. Lisa thrived, her new partner, Sarah, integrating smoothly into the family. Envy flickered in Juliana. Why smoother for her? But empathy won. Each path unique, paved by prior battles. They co-hosted events, laughter filling rooms once tense. "Thanks for blazing the trail," Lisa said one evening. Juliana smiled, but inside the cost tallied. Isolation, tears, resilience earned hard. A revelation shook foundations. Eleanor's journals, discovered in storage during a cleanout. Entries detailed her internal conflict, loving a woman in secret yet conforming to expectations, even donating to causes that went against her heart as a form of self-punishment. I betrayed myself daily, she wrote in shaky hand. Juliana wept over the pages, understanding the depth of suppressed pain. The moral mirror reflected back. Generations repeating cycles until someone broke them. She sacrificed for us, Juliana told Julia. But at what price to her soul? Julia's career rebounded with a promotion, earned through sheer resilience amid the earlier complaints. We win by living openly, she declared at her celebration dinner. Their home became a haven for others, hosting support groups, potluck dinners for queer friends. Stories shared around the table echoed their own. Rejections, triumphs. But threats persisted. Anonymous vandalism on their car, online trolls spewing hate. Security measures became routine, a camera here, cautious walks there. A sad necessity in their progressive city. As time marched on, Mark's life unraveled. Job loss from downsizing, divorce from long-buried issues. He reached out in desperation. Can we talk? Juliana met him at a neutral cafe, guards up. I was wrong about everything, he admitted, eyes downcast. Jealousy, fear. I projected it all. The confession was raw, a mirror to her own past angers. Reconciliation was tentative, starting with small steps. A birthday card, a holiday invite. Juliana wrestled with it. Forgive the betrayer or protect her peace? In the end, empathy won, but boundaries firm. Reflecting on the entire journey in quiet moments, Juliana saw the intricate tapestry woven from threads of betrayal, love, and awakening. Grandma's empty coffin had symbolized the voids in their lives, now partially filled by hard-won confrontations and truths unearthed. The family's evolution, from rejection to varying degrees of acceptance, came at a steep price: emotional scars, public scrutiny, personal sacrifices. Yet it sparked broader ripples. Friends inspired to come out, relatives questioning their biases. Julia and Juliana's love endured, deepened by the fires they'd walked through. We made it, Julia whispered on their anniversary, toasting with wine. Juliana nodded, but her mind posed the ultimate question, one that echoed the moral heart of their story. But was using deception to force acceptance ultimately right or wrong?